Hey everyone, I wanted to make a quick video real quick on my heaters I purchased from a government liquidation site. Hopefully I'm saying the name right. It's Choctaw Manufacturing. Probably said it wrong. They're 140,000 BTU. These units I purchased to rent them out for heating large buildings and whatnot, tents. But the reason I'm making the video is because there's not much information online about these units. To kind of sum things up, you have your return and then you have your supply of heated air. So basically a 1500 CFM fan. Here's what you're looking at is the burner itself is in a sealed chamber. Exhaust gases are not mixed in with the heated air. It has a separate exhaust port, which I'll show you that in a minute. You've basically got a two temperature thermostats here. The one on the left, I believe, that is like a 190 degree. So when this burner gets up to temperature, it's just going to keep kicking. That one kills the burner out until about a 15 to 20 degree differential, maybe a little more, it might be like 30 degree differential in temperature loss will allow the burner to restart. The second one on the right, this one here, is a high limit. Basically, if the first one were to fail and this thing's just really cranking out some heat, it could cause a fire or any other problems. That will also kill the burner. Let's see, let's come around to this side here. I'll show you where the exhaust is. Here's the exhaust port on this one. Probably about a 2-inch exhaust. Now this unit would sit outside. That actually has some more other pipes that would hook to that and come straight up as like a little flue. This looks like a regular standard exhaust pipe. It has a 14-gallon tank. I'm not 100% sure how long this unit would run on that, but it also, I'll show you that again, it also has an auxiliary fuel supply that you can hook to it. You can either use the internal tank, or this can be hooked to, say, like a 250-gallon or 100-gallon, 50-gallon tank. Let's get into some of the controls here real quick. Basic view. This is your wiring diagram for this control board. This would flip up basically to do some servicing work, replace the relays that are under there, and some other basic stuff. You've got your remote control options, your off, your vent, your cool down, and your heating. You also have your alarm here for your carbon monoxide and a light. In the event that the carbon monoxide levels would exceed too high either from the remote, or there is also another detector inside this cabinet, it would kill the burner instantly. You got some basic circuit breakers. One thing you want to do with these units, whether or not you're just using this in vent mode or if you are using it as far as heating, the very first thing you want to do is you have this little switch here, the purge switch. You're going to want to hold that up for approximately 5 seconds, they say. I go a little longer, 5 to 10. Basically, on this gauge is your fuel pressure. Once you see about 10 psi, maybe a little less, probably like, as long as you're showing these 5 or 6 psi on there, then that is telling you that the fuel pump is primed. If it's not primed and you continue to run it, you potentially burn the pump out of the fuel pump out. One thing I didn't discuss is this unit runs off of diesel fuel. In the event it's really cold out, you can add some additives to your diesel fuel to thin the diesel. Let's get into these cabinets here a little bit. Very simple design, easy to open, maintain, for maintenance purposes. Let me show you this real quick. Basically, my unit did not come with remote control in this one. This is another one I have out of my other units I pulled to show. But you got a thermostat control here. You've got your vent, cool down, and heating, as well as another CO2 detector on this particular remote, which most all the remotes have that on there. First cabinet you see is fuel tank. It's the 14-gallon tank. You have a pressure switch, which is that guy right there. That basically monitors the air pressure. The burner will not kick on unless these doors are closed. All the doors have to be closed on the unit for the burner to work. And the reason that is because the fan brings in the air into this chamber and is forced through an exchanger. And the exchanger could overheat if the basically if the airflow is not sufficient through the unit. This particular one here did not have the remote with it, so I wired in a thermostat on the inside here. The reason I put it on the inside is just to keep from tampering purposes of anybody messing with it if I'm renting this out. Let's see. Basically, these units did not have a fuel filter when I bought them. And it actually took me a good while just to find one. If you have this unit, that's the Napa number, 3783. Mine had extra caps with your fuel drain on it. And basically check your sediment. You can drain your water from the second one. That's if you get some water in there. Leeson motor. That also on the back side has the fuel pump on it, which you can see right there. The 1500 CFM fan blower, which supplies air. This duct here is supplying your air into your burn chamber. There's a separate blower, which is probably going to be hard. There you go. This second blower here is actually what feeds the air into the burn chamber. Similar to how your furnace oil burner works, but a little bit different on the inside. What else am I missing here? Basically, these units are capable of heating pretty large areas, I would say. I mean, how big of an area? I'm not sure. They're 140,000 BTU. They heat my garage, which is probably 30 by 20 in about 3 minutes. I can get it 15-degree difference and in that little bit of time, so more than enough heat to say heat a large area. What else am I missing? It has tires on it on either side, 2 wheels, as well as a jack. This unit can sit flat on the ground, basically. You can jack it up. Those wheels here, they will fold up into the unit, so this whole unit can sit flat on the ground. One thing you want to look at if you have purchased these is you want to double check all these fuel lines in here. I had one of these that somebody had loosened up to drain the fuel from, and I did not realize that it was loose. Turned the unit on, and fuel started to run out through the bottom of the unit. I couldn't figure out why. Once I got in there, I realized that, well, somebody had loosened one of those fittings up and fuel was just spewing everywhere. Once I tightened that up, that was good. Priming the unit, basically, that took a little bit of a challenge because everything was dry. This one here hasn't really even been used. It has 8 hours on it, 4 of which I even put on the unit. But basically, when you're priming them out, fill them with diesel fuel about halfway, and you have to sit here and hold this purge switch, and you'll see this gauge fluctuate a lot. Once you're done purging, you get into heat mode on this. This gauge should pressure up to about 120, 130 psi, somewhere around there, of fuel pressure, and that is telling you now that it's supplying fuel, which I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little line right there. That is supplying fuel into the burner. That's actually your ignition transformer and all. Not much more basically to this unit. If you have any other questions, you can send me a line and I'll see if I can answer them.